So, at the beginning of the anime, we are introduced to our main character, Dr. Raomiya, who 4 years ago among his patients met a 12-year-old girl, Sarina. She had been sick with an incurable disease for almost her entire life, spending most of it under doctor's care, where her lifelong dream was to become an idol or to be reincarnated into an idol's family to obtain the beauty, talents, and connections that idol's children receive. Sarina's idol and the leader of the group Bikamaki Ai, whose performances Sarina watched until her death, was a rising star. After these events, our doctor unexpectedly became a fan of idols, in particular, Ai. In the present, while working as an obstetrician, he unexpectedly found Ai and her manager, Ichigo Sato, among his patients. It turns out, Ai recently announced that she was taking a career break due to illness, but it was revealed that it was because of her hidden pregnancy. To keep it secret, they came from Tokyo to this small town, and she will have twins. As a fan and now her doctor, our protagonist was shocked by these events, but he decided that he would help Ai deliver healthy children by any means necessary. During this process, he learned that Ai's dreams are these children, but she doesn't want to choose between them and her career. She plans to keep it all secret, but on the day Ai was supposed to give birth, Rao unexpectedly encountered stalkers who knew about her pregnancy. He tried to find out how they knew, but they pushed him off a cliff, causing him to have flashbacks to Sarina's words about her dream of becoming an idol. As a result of the fall, our protagonist died, but immediately after, he was reincarnated as Ai's newborn son, while Sarina was reincarnated as Ai's second child, a daughter. Somehow, their memories from their past lives were preserved, and they both know about their previous identities, but they keep it a secret. Ai named her son Aquamarine, nicknamed Aqua, and her daughter she named Ruby. Thus began the story of our star children of the idol. Based on these events, Ai began to combine her work as an idol and a mother with the help of the director of her agency, Ichigo Sato, and his wife, Miyaka Sato, whom the director left to look after the children while Ai was at the concert. However, Miyaka didn't dream of such a life. Marrying the agency director, she dreamed of bathing in money, not diapers. She decided to hype the children as she could get huge money for information about Ai's children. After all this noise, she immediately decided to find herself a new handsome husband. When Aqua and Ruby found out about this, they decided to stop her, pretending to be messengers with a divine purpose, telling Miyaka that she must keep Ai's secret and watch over her children to survive. They also pretended to see her future, where Miyaka would marry a handsome man for the second time, which Miyaka believed. Additionally, during this process, Aqua seemed to sense Sarina in Ruby, while Ruby sensed the doctor in Aqua, but they didn't attach much importance to it. Furthermore, one day at their request, Miyaka, without Ai's knowledge, brought them to one of Bikamaki's concerts, where the two of them hyped up the audience with their dancing, which helped Ai. As a result, a year later, Ai had grown to the point where she was being called for movie shoots, and she took on any job because her earnings were still low, but she wanted to give her children a better life. For this, she needed money. During these shoots, we showed her professionalism and charm, but most of her scenes were cut from the film because her overwhelming charm stole too much attention. However, despite this, the director noticed Aqua for a new role in another movie they were filming. During the shoot, Aqua and Ruby met Arima Moikano, an actress who was popular but had trouble getting along with people. Eventually, Aqua, understanding the director's intentions, played himself in the film, impressing the director. Arima was displeased with this turn of events, but the director explained that at their age, to succeed, one must be communicative and listen to the director, which Aqua did much better than the arrogant Arima. As a result, the film with Ai, Aqua, and Arima was a great success, and the director was even nominated for various film awards. We gained even more popularity and started getting called for various advertising shoots. Meanwhile, Aqua and Ruby started attending kindergarten, where a boy tried to learn details about Ruby's past life, especially her age. Ruby, thinking that if Aqua was an adult in his past life, admitting to being 12 might disrupt their equality, standardly replied that it's impolite to ask girls about their age. Additionally, it was revealed that Ruby had a fear of dancing due to an illness in her past life, which she overcame with the help of Ai's dances. After Ai overheard her children talking about their father, whom they didn't really believe in, thinking that I might have conceived them immaculately, she decided to introduce him to the children. She gave him their home address. Around the same time, Ai reached her first 1 million subscribers, and she, together with her agency, started celebrating. Moreover, in a week, she would turn 20, and they decided to talk about the beginning of her career. Kai, the director of the orphanage, came and told Ai that her fate was to become an idol, as he knew about her difficult life. She was sent to the orphanage after her mother was imprisoned, and her mother never returned for her. Now, I believed that her life was a lie and that she had always dreamed of learning to love truly. The director explained to her that through her songs and dances as an idol, she could show her fans her love, and she agreed because she believed that lying was the best defense for love. In the present, she still hadn't told her children that she loved them. Fearing that if her life was a lie, saying those words might also turn out to be false, and she was afraid that the most important words to her might turn out to be lies when she said them. Therefore, she showed her love to her children through food and games. In the end, the next morning, someone called into the apartment. It turned out to be that same stalker fan who somehow knew her address. He asked about her well-being and her twins, then plunged a knife into her, accusing her of betraying her fans with her lies about the children. In response, she said she lied to delight her fans, and for her, falsehood is love. She also remembered the name of this fan. His name was Roskin. After these words, realizing what he had done, he fled from the house, and she, in turn, closed the door and began to lose strength due to blood loss. All of this was happening in front of Aqua's eyes, who immediately called for an ambulance. At the same time, he was worried that her concert would be canceled because of all this, but she sincerely rejoiced that her children were born so talented. She believed that Aqua would become a great actor, and Ruby a great idol. Furthermore, she finally decided to tell them that she loved them. So she bid farewell to them, and that was it. The fan who stabbed her committed suicide, and the police closed the case. All of I's concerts were canceled, where her fans gathered for a long time to say goodbye to their legendary idol. Kwai and Ruby, reading the comments of some people, were shocked by how ruthless the internet was. Eventually, after 3 days, the public began to forget what had happened. As for Shakwa, remembering who killed him in his past life, and seeing the one who stabbed I, he realized it was the same person, a normal student, a fan of I. But how he managed to find out in which hospital I was at the time and what her address was remained unclear. Aqua was sure that someone from I's surroundings leaked this information to the fan. And since she had neither friends nor relatives, and the director Chaga could not have done such a thing, as I was very valuable to him, Aqua concluded that it was his father, Aqua, and Ruby, who were most likely also from the show business, just like I. Aqua realized that he could figure out who it was with the help of a DNA test. After finding him, he planned to kill him, but for now, he would take him into custody. And essentially, this was the beginning of Aqua's harsh revenge on his father for killing his mother, the idol I. Then there was a 10-year time skip. During this time, the kids changed a lot. Ruby, with her desire to be like her mother, tried to become an idol by attending various auditions. Aqua also changed a lot. His face almost never showed a smile since then, and he was very protective of his sister. He didn't want to lose her, just like I in the proxy. During this time, Ichigo's director left the company, and his wife Miku took his place. The Baikomiki group completely fell apart 2 years after I's death, and Strawberry Proc is now involved in promoting internet tariffs. Aqua didn't want Ruby to follow in I's footsteps, but Ruby didn't give up. One day, she was pulled into an underground group for work, where Aqua decided to find out what kind of shady company she was drawn into. He checked by pretending to be a recruit for Strawberry Proc to find out from one of the group members the terms of the company where Ruby was drawn. Because in the idol world, everything depends on the quality of the company they work for. Miyako also observed all this, and as a result, Aqua managed to prevent Ruby from working with this unreliable company. But Ruby didn't give up after that. Her dream was to become an idol just like her mother. Realizing that Ruby wouldn't give up, Miyako decided to get involved in the idol group again, where Ruby was hired under contract. And Aqua was generally not against it, because Ruby could fulfill her dream, and besides, she would work with family. It was also explained to us that Aqua had been working as an assistant to the same director who worked with him and I all these years. He worked for him to improve his editing skills, and already from behind the scenes, work with actors and find out who is guilty of I's death. Aqua and his sister Ruby were also accepted into Strawberry Production so that they could enter the legendary Yoda High School, where there is a course in performing arts. Aqua enrolled there with the goal of looking after his sister. There they met the same Arim Yukanu with whom they once crossed paths during the filming of a movie. It turned out that she had changed a lot since then, becoming more communicative. At the same time, she fell in love with Aqua, and she found out that he was helping the same director who shot the movie they were in. Also, during lunch, Arima mentioned that she was currently starring in a series in the lead role, and they needed actors there. This series was directed by Kaborji Masai, and Arima invited Aqua to the set. Upon hearing this name, Aqua remembered how he found 3 of I's phones after her death, and she changed them to protect her children. He immediately gained access to the contacts in 2 phones, and in the last phone, which I used before her popularity, Aqua hacked into it for 4 years, checking 25.5 million passwords. There he found hundreds of numbers of various people from the show business, and there he first saw Kabor's name, who was acquainted with I. Aqua agreed to participate in these shootings without much thought. His goal was to find Kabor and conduct a DNA test on him. Further, during these shootings, Aqua found out that this series had a terrible cast because the director chose everyone for roles exclusively by appearance, which resulted in terrible reviews for the series. Even the mangaka whose manga this series was based on was shocked by how badly they acted there. Before the shootings, Arima told Aqua that she had changed a lot since then, as her former narcissism led to everyone abandoning her, and she lost a bunch of roles. Based on this, she became more communicative and always tried to play in a way that would be appreciated. That's why Kabura started pulling her into various projects. Also, Arima brought Aqua here to raise the level of acting skill through him. In this series, Aqua will play in a stalker series on the one who won Skilled Eye. Later, she introduced him to Kabura, and on the smoking break, Kabura heard that Kabura was working with Arima, an actor with a popular name, after which he obtained the director's DNA and realized that Arima was being held for a fool. Aqua decided to go all out and change the fate of this series completely. As a result, he played his role perfectly, fully immersing himself in the author's narration and the director's vision. With his actions, he provoked the main narcissist of this series and recreated the scenes exactly as the mangaka intended. Aqua once again correctly understood the author of the work and perfectly embodied it. Arima diluted all this with her tearful talent, and during the release of the last episode, all viewers, including the mangaka herself, shed tears from this amazing performance by the actors. Although this series did not ultimately gain great popularity, the last episode deeply touched the hearts of the fans of this manga, and at the presentation, the mangaka expressed admiration for Arima's performance. Kabura praised Aqua for his work, and he also noticed that Aqua's face strongly resembled Ai's, who, like him, was in Strawberry Prop. In the process, we were also explained that Aqua had already given the director's chip for a DNA test, and their result was negative. Further, Kabura said that he knew her even before she became popular. He worked with her when he was a middleman for a magazine. Then he helped her with advertising searches. Aqua immediately clarified if he knew who I could have been dating. Kabura was surprised by the question and asked why Aqua needed this information. The guy replied that he was her strong fan, and the director said that he knew, but he would share this information with Aqua if he participated in his reality show Familiar with Love with a Star. And the guy agreed to these conditions. Next, Aqua and Ruby went to the school induction ceremony, where there was a real gathering of various kinds of stars. Ruby was understandably shocked by the local sights. She immediately noticed the big talents of the model Minami, who was also in her class. There was also the super mega popular Snake Naga, Sayafro Shiranui, whom Ruby wouldn't mind getting to know better. She was approached directly by her and offered to become friends with his sister. Ruby didn't realize that Shiranui knew who Aqua was, as she had seen his amazing performance, and she also knew who Minami was and had observed her big modeling talents. However, she didn't know anything about Ruby, as she had not appeared anywhere in the media space yet. Based on this, Ruby immediately ran to Miyako and began to beg her to make Ruby an idol faster. However, Miyako couldn't do that because Ruby didn't have a group. Aqua came up with a solution to invite Arima to the group, as she was currently not working with any agency. But since Ruby didn't get along with her very well, Aqua, again, helped solve this problem. He pulled her into a conversation where she thought it would be something romantic, but Ruby was waiting for her there with Aqua and directly told her that she wanted to invite her to the group. Arima immediately began to think that if she couldn't become an idol, then her acting career would fail. Therefore, she was already inclined to refuse this offer, but Aqua's decision-making skills kicked in again, and with his manipulations, he persuaded Arima to sign a contract. She didn't even understand how she agreed to it. Furthermore, Ruby and Arima found out that Aqua would be participating in a reality show where various talented people were gathered, including musicians, actors, dancers, and YouTuber memes. Aqua specially came up with a new role for this show where the girls hardly recognized him, and the stern-faced Aqua was not very happy with playing this role. However, he needed to show himself so that Kabura would reveal information to him that even Strawberry Productions didn't know. For Aqua, this would be a big hint on how to find his father, as he was flirting on this show. Ruby and Arima pondered the name of their new group and the fact that they lacked any media presence. Miyako came to their aid and brought them a pumped-up guy, YouTuber Pion, who began to physically pump them up and even collaborated with them. During all this, our girls decided to name their group after the legendary Bikomachi. Then we were brought back to the set, where Aqua realized during the filming of the show that there are real talents here who don't even need to pretend. But there are also those who almost don't get any screen time. One of such actresses was hardworking Akane, who studied everyone and everything from morning till night and trained in her free time to become better. However, her agency director was unhappy with the results, and Akane accidentally overheard this. Although her manager defended Akane in front of the director, she realized that she was almost absent from the screens because she was quiet. She decided to start expressing herself and told this to the beauties who were creating love triangles on the show, Yuki Sumi, who was glad that Akane wanted to show herself but was not going to give in to her, which ultimately led to Akane scratching Yuki's face in emotions during filming. Yuki immediately forgave Akane for this act. However, the show's production team decided to hype it up, and they inserted only a fragment where Akane scratched Yuki's face, which resulted in a ton of negative and angry comments pouring on our quiet girl. Akane tried to publicly apologize for her actions, but she was even more bullied. As Akane was also surfing the ego, she was searching and reading information about herself in the city, exacerbating the situation. The internet is a very cruel space. Many people leave comments there without thinking about how much pain they can cause to others. In the end, all of this leads to Anna deciding to end her life by jumping off a bridge. But in the last second, Aqua saves her because it turns out all the actors on the show were worried about Anna. And when she disappeared, Aqua and Anna were rushed to the police. Anna's mother arrived at the police station, followed by Yaku, who once again reminded everyone that the best weapon for media personalities is lies. If an actor creates an image for themselves during filming, when that image is attacked, it's easy for them to endure that moment. After that, Anna came out and apologized to everyone for her actions and said that despite everything, she was going to continue filming the show. She was amazed at how everyone supported her. However, Anna still couldn't recover from what happened. Then Aqua stepped in, taking big risks by leaking information about Anna's suicide attempt to the internet. He also went to all the participants of this show to gather existing photos and videos showing who Anna really was because all the participants knew that the show's organizers deliberately tarnished their ratings. As a result, Aqua received a lot of different photos and videos from the memes, and the great musician promised to write music for this video. Yuki, as a professional actor, reminded everyone of the incident with Kano and the fragment where Yuki immediately forgave Anna. Based on this, Aqua went to the organizers and, with his manipulations and common sense, managed to obtain this recording. Then Aqua sat down to edit the video, which took him 2 days. Mim Chan said she wanted to return to the show, where Aqua suggested she create an alter ego for herself, which would make it much easier for her to participate in the show. This role would be a shield for her against haters, so she asked Aqua to describe his ideal girl to her, and he described the legendary Ai, which Anna decided to play. It turns out she is very observant and has the talent to copy any person by studying them in detail, a skill she learned at Lilele Theater. After studying Ai's personality, she came to the show and copied her as much as possible, leaving Aqua with the impression that it was the legendary Ai herself. All of this made it into the show's episode and garnered in a lot of positive reviews. Meanwhile, Shaq was shocked, but he didn't reveal his secrets related to Ai. He was also troubled by the question of how he was reborn as Ai's child. The next day, on the way to school, Aqua invited Arima to walk together. She thought they would do something romantic, but it turns out Aqua invited her to gather her farts during their baseball game. He also subtly hinted to her that he likes older girls, like Arima, but Arima thought he was talking about Anna. Then Aqua went to shoot the final episode of the show, where Anna thanked him for his advice, as she became more confident and popular thanks to him. She also told him, as a fan, that she was able to find out from Ai's behavior that Ai had a child. After that, Aqua went back to Anna, where they discussed their ending and decided that it would be a bit like meeting for their fans, but it would all be within the framework of their work on the show. Anna is only interesting to him as an actress. However, behind the scenes of this show, a real couple formed Nob and Yuki. They deliberately didn't show their feelings on set so that no one would interfere with them. After the end of this gathering, an unexpected conversation took place between Aqua and Mem Chan, from which Aqua learned that, for personal reasons, she was unable to fulfill her dream. Based on this, Aqua quickly invited Mem Chan to school, where she started streaming and calling herself a high school student, and everything worked out. She raised 370,000 subscribers on YouTube. Of course, she was upset that she had the opportunity to become an idol at the age of 25, but she had no other options. Ruby and Arima heard all this and said they didn't care about her age. They accepted her into the group, and they finally became a full-fledged group. Next, we were immediately taken to school where, during classes, Ruby and Minami discussed the show Love with the Star. Shiran, we approached them as she watched the show and knew many of the actors. She mentioned that if she were a guy, she would have a crush on Aqua's character. She also noted that the show greatly increased Aqua's and the new Bikomachi's popularity. However, Arima couldn't figure herself out at that time. She lacked the motivation that Ruby and the others had. Aqua tried to support her, but she was angry at him for the kiss. Aqua subtly hinted that she needed to stop being mad at him. Later, Aqua met with Kabura, who knew I well and helped her career in showbiz. Kabura introduced her to La La Theater Actors, where Kane currently works. Kabura believed that I met her love there and changed drastically, becoming more concerned about her appearance and often inquired about secret meeting spots. Kabura suggested Aqua meet the theater's director. He also proposed that the new Big Komachi members go to a Japanese idol festival. The girls decided to determine the group leader through karaoke, and Arima was chosen. To prepare for the festival, Miyaka brought Pion, who worked on improving the girls' stamina and dancing skills while they worked on their performance program. Arima seemingly began to develop feelings for Pion. On the night before the performance, Ruby started to tell the truth about her past. Arima thought she was fantasizing and went downstairs, only to discover that Pion was actually Aqua in disguise. Unable to sleep the next day, Arima realized that Aqua and Akane's relationship was fake for the fans. She confronted Aqua, who explained that he was pretending to be Pion to help in another situation. Later, Aqua and Akane met to take Instagram photos and film together at the Tokyo Blade Cutting Idol Studio, where Arima, whom Akane has known since childhood, will also be acting. The first season of Star Child came to an end, and they thanked everyone for watching. See you in the next season.